Hey fellow Schneider drivers, I am parked behind the Tractor Supply in Bakersfield, California for the day. My load is a live unload tomorrow morning at 5. I am here early, so it's a beautiful day. So I'm going to get a lot of walking in, maybe hopefully 5-7 miles of walking. I'm going to walk down to the Walmart. I'm going to walk in here and tell them I'm here just to let them know. Yeah, one thing, I do a lot of videos about trucking. One thing I never say is that trucking is easy. Yeah, trucking is not easy, especially starting off when you first get your CDL, and it takes time to be able to drive 11 hours, work 14, 16 hours a day, day after day. It takes time to get used to that. And there is a learning curve with the job itself. You've got to learn how to use the tablet. You've got to learn how to work with the Schneider, the office folks. And you have to, driving the truck is the easy part. It's all the other stuff that takes time to learn. A lot of people have a misunderstanding about what trucking is, because the only time they're exposed to trucking is when they see a driver on the open freeway driving his truck. They don't see the driver sleeping in the truck day after day. They don't see the driver parking the truck in really difficult parking places at the truck stop. They don't see the driver backing into really hard docks. They just see the driver on the open freeway and they think, oh boy, that looks easy. I can drive down the open freeway. And yes, you can drive down the open freeway, especially now with the automatic trucks. You can drive down the open freeway, but that is just a small part of what a truck driver does. There is a lot more to it, and it's not an easy job. I can guarantee you that. Some truck drivers think that the best trucking jobs are the easiest jobs, the ones that all it is dropping hook, all it is there's no docks, it's open freeway, and they get paid a decent wage. They think that's the best trucking job. Personally, I don't like the easy jobs. I don't like dedicated accounts. I don't like the easy jobs. I like going to different places all the time. I like going to different facilities. I like driving. I got to where I don't mind driving through cities, but all that comes with experience. When you first start out, all you want to do is make it. You just want to make it to the customer, make it to the shipper, the receiver. You want to make it through the city. But it gets boring. It gets boring over time. At least that's how I feel. I don't like the easy jobs. If you want an easy job, there are plenty of easy jobs in trucking. But you run the risk of getting bored. And for me personally, boredom is my biggest enemy. And it has always been my biggest enemy when it comes to employment. If I get bored with a job, you might as well fire me right there, because I am not going to do well. So OTR so far is still exciting. It's still interesting. And I've been at it for over 4 years. And for me, that's saying a lot. But at no point have I ever said truck driving is easy. I've never said that. I got my bachelor's degree, my associate's degree. I played organized football and basketball. I lived overseas in Germany for 8 years, and all of that stuff pales in comparison to how difficult the first year of my trucking career was. So if you're getting into trucking and you think it's going to be easy, if you're getting into trucking because you don't really want to drive a truck, but you're just kind of out of options and you can't really do anything else, it may work for you. It may. But you have to go into it with the thought of, this is going to be really hard at first. Really hard. And once you get your year in, your 2 years, whatever, it gets easier. I've got some messages from some guys. One is 55, the other is 59, and they're getting into trucking for the first time. And they're a little bit worried. And what I tell them is don't be worried. Don't be worried. You can do it. You can physically do it. You can mentally do it. But just understand that it's going to be really hard that first year. So don't give up. You know, somebody that's 55, 59, maybe their options, they don't want to work at a fast food place. They don't want to work at Dairy Queen or McDonald's, and I understand totally. You can drive a truck. It's not going to be easy, but you can do it. I'm 45. I got into it when I was 41. Still pretty young. So yeah, if you're getting up in age, you can absolutely do trucking as a career, absolutely. Personally, I plan on driving until somebody drags my old body out of the truck. It might, I don't know how long Schneider will let me drive, but I'm going to drive for somebody. That's why I'm saving up my money. I don't want to retire. My dad retired. I saw what retirement is like. I don't want to retire. I want to keep working. At least that's how I feel now. It may change. But yeah, if I get up to 60, 65, 70, and they say, oh, we can't, you're a liability, you're too old, then I'll say, oh, I'll buy my own truck. Buy my own truck, somebody will hire me. Got my own truck. I figure I can drive till I'm 80, 85. Who should get into trucking and who shouldn't? The following is my opinion and my opinion only. If you want to drive a truck for a living, you've looked at the industry, you've talked to other drivers, you've got as much information as you can get, and you want to drive a truck for a living, get into trucking. If you do not, your heart's not in it, you don't really think you want to drive a truck for a living, you don't want to be in the truck for so many hours, maybe reconsider. Because one thing is true. If you get hired to be a truck driver, you are going to drive a truck a lot. My opinion. And those of you who are on the fence, you're not sure, try it. Maybe you'll like it. What makes a driver good? What makes a driver the best? Is the best driver the driver that owns his own truck and it's covered in chrome and he can drive 80 miles an hour down the Rocky Mountains in a snowstorm? Is that the best driver? Or is it the new driver who's been on for a year, drives an old, crummy company truck, it's got dents in it, he's brand new to the industry, he's wearing his safety vest? Which driver is better? Well, the one that drives safely is better. Doesn't matter if you're brand new, doesn't matter if you've got 20 years in. If you operate safely, you are a good driver. That's all there is to it. Doesn't matter how much chrome you have. Doesn't matter if back in the olden days you drove for 7 days straight without sleeping. None of that matters. All that matters is that you deliver your load on time and safely. So a lot of talk on the internet about the industry's going to hell because of the new drivers, and all those guys that talk about the new drivers, apparently they were never new. Apparently when they came out of the womb, they were shifting a 16-speed Peterbilt down cabbage going 90 miles an hour. That's just not true. Simply untrue. So you could be brand new. It could be your first day. As long as you get that load delivered on time and safely, you are just as good as anybody else. Yeah, so I was also unemployed. I was as low as I could get. And I got my CDL, and trucking saved my life. I went from having absolutely nothing, to a reason to wake up in the morning, able to pay child support, able to save up retirement, able to have plenty of money to do the things I wanted to do with my kids. So trucking if you're in a pickle, if you're in a situation where you just feel like you need a change, you need structure, you need something to drive you, no pun intended, trucking can do that for you. It's all in, so to speak. I went all in. I was gonna make it work no matter what, so I went all in, and I have no regrets. It saved my life. I went from feeling as low as I could possibly feel to feeling great. Like I said, I have responsibilities, and trucking has gave me an opportunity to meet those responsibilities head on and do what I'm supposed to do. Like I said, if you're in a rough spot and you want to do trucking as a career, you want to do it, don't just get into it because you're in a rough spot. Don't just get into trucking because you don't have anything else to do and you don't know what to do. That's not necessarily a great thing either. You do your research. Get into it because you want to. Another thing, you have to be able to pass a hair follicle test. And don't think that, oh, I'm going to go in, I'm going to pass a hair follicle test and then that'll be it. They'll leave me alone. They'll never, I'll be able to start smoking dope again and smoking the marijuana, and everything's going to be fine. No, they'll catch you. And when they catch you, that'll go on your DAC report that you failed the drug test. So don't think that you can scam the system. Don't think you can fool anybody. If you're ready to get into it, go all in. Do what it takes. And after you get your experience, you can branch out, do other things. But you always have your CDL. You always have the ability to make money. Morally, justly. To the young drivers, I salute you. The 21 to 30-year-olds that are in trucking, I salute you. Some of you may have tried college. It wasn't for you. There's nothing wrong with that. I went through college and it wasn't for me. I still went through it. It wasn't for me. I didn't like it. But maybe you are getting out of your small hometown, or maybe your family life isn't so great, so you're into trucking, and I salute you. I like talking with young Schneider drivers. They work just as hard as anybody else. So that concludes my 5-mile walk. Exercise, so beneficial. I'm here at Tractor Supply, and all I want to say, last thing I want to say is if you get a Tractor Supply load, you can park on site, which is of great benefit. However, some of these stores have one way in and one way out. And if you come in the wrong way, it's going to cause a headache. So what I do, I get on Google Maps, even Google Earth, so I can see which way their dock is pointing, so I can pull in and back up easily. This one, there's a lot of room back here. Some of them there's not. Some of them it's just enough room to get a truck in. So yeah, when in doubt, I do research. I've been driving for 4 years and I still do research to make sure that the load goes smoothly, easily. And that's it for today. Friendly Bill. Catch you on the flip.